All right,
Right.
so now we're going to talk about some of the reasons why people think the leaks are actually real. Bear in mind that a lot of it is reiteration, since we already have tried, debunking the points against the leaks. But I think some of them are pretty interesting regardless. So, I mean, we already know some of the stuff like the fact that the motto seems to be unique, taking elements from Uprising and from Brawl, but isn't, clearly from either game. So
It's taking
that's,
input from both.
yeah, it seems to be inspired from both, but not actually, some sort of rip or export. But another point that is actually pretty interesting, pretty darn interesting, if you ask me, is that the Palutena model has different charms around her belt compared to the charm she has in Uprising or Brawl or any of the respective artworks. What do you guys think about that?
That's
Yeah.
the interesting part.
Well,
I mean, if he was creating a model from the ground up, why would you consciously think to change it to make it reflect a new model? I mean, it just shows he would have to put a lot of thought and take a lot of risks to make it new compared to what we've already seen.
Yeah, I know. I will say, I know that the Starman was already debunked, but I can't hold on to like that theory that maybe like the Starman is still like at the top of that little spinal
Right.
charm.
For those
It
who
does
don't know
look
what we're
kinda like a
talking about, there's a charm on Palutena's belt that's like long and spiny. Some people viewed, like deciphered kind of like a Starman at the top, which has since been debunked. But you're saying that it could be still the case that it's just a Starman at the top, right?
Yeah, it does look like a Starman to me, but that's just
Oh,
the way the image.
also about her charms, she has like a teardrop eggplant sort of charm on like the top belt. She has that in her uprising model, or no, she has it in one of her models, but not the other. And then
Oh
the
yeah,
the
it's
long,
not in the Brawl model, but it's in the Uprising model.
yeah, it's in the uprising model, but not the brawl model. And the
Same with the belt buckle, actually.
yeah,
Mhm.
and the belt buckle. Like the belt buckle isn't in the brawl model, but it's in the uprising model. But the uprising model's belt buckle looks different.
Sounds like a tongue
Yeah,
twister to me.
isn't this
Yeah.
belt buckle stylized to be like a Greek letter?
Yeah, it's like the Greek letter for gamma or something. And also the little like spiny long charm that we all confuse for Starman. That's on her brawl model, but it's not on her uprising model.
Yeah. So that means
Well,
if
then.
this was fake, that dude said, I like that charm from that game, but I don't like this one. And I,
I
like
like
that
this
charm
one.
from that other game, and I'm gonna put it in there.
I like this one. I like this one. I don't like that one. That one's not going on. I like this one.
Yeah.
Also, Starman.
Very selective.
Yeah. So that's a lot of creative freedom that I really doubt some leaker.
That someone would put it into this
Yeah.
screenshot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, another point too, Palutena's just art design in general just matches Pit's art design in the new games, and they completely changed Pit between Uprising and his Brawl version of him, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of thought put into that.
You mean Smash 3DS, right? Like the Smash 3DS appearance is a lot different than the Uprising model, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
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 So another point is that the Mario model, which we kind of touched on, is more refined compared to the Mario model from the developer direct from E3. The buttons on his overalls are larger. It has longer straps, so everything looks more cartoony and clear and exaggerated. The colors are more saturated, more deep, and the sideburns are actually shorter. He has a darker mustache and smaller hands or gloves. So I think that's a good point to raise as well, because it's not just a design choice anymore. That's plain refinement.
Yeah.
It just shows how far they've come with the game.
Yeah, definitely.
That's like the one point of concern I like to have. Like you guys point out, like it looks like that the image from the Mysteria stage. But I noticed in the leaked image, Mario's hand seemed to look a little smaller, while in the other image, his hand seems bigger.
Yeah. So
And
mhm.
plus, let's say like he's been like the leaker, if this is fake, has been developing this for a while. like if he refined this model himself, like what are the odds that it just happened to look like a model from 2 days prior?
Right.
Yeah.
That's another point because the model in the leaked screenshots looks more akin to the model shown in the picture of the day Miiverse update from January 20th, which was of course the adventure mode-esque looking screenshot, and it would be strange for the leaked screenshots to come so shortly after, barely over 48 hours after that update, and reflect the new change in Mario.
Also, before this like storm starts, as we said before, Photoshop has limits. Like the leaker, if this is fake, could not have just taken the model from the 28th update and zoomed it in a bit. Like, there's no way that could be possible.
That's laughable.
CSI style.
Yeah.
It was
And
like crap.
going back to the hand issue, how they're saying that in the leaked image his hands are smaller, and in adventure mode it's a little bigger. Well, that's not even really irrelevant because if you remember, every time Mario punches, his hands become bigger. So we could possibly be seeing in adventure mode he could have just done an attack and his hands can be slightly bigger. I mean, we really don't know.
I think as though he's clearly in his idle pose.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but,
but
like, I think what he's saying is like he like before the picture was taken, he was just did a punch, and like when he went back to his idle pose, his hands hadn't shrunken all the way. Is what I think he's trying to say.
yeah.
Maybe.
Like smoothly complete.
No. The thing
Mario
is,
balloon fish.
My hands.
But, the thing I noticed about the 3DS, the art direction of like the 3DS game, I noticed like the characters themselves just generally look a little more stubbier, like where like the Wii Fit Trainer looking a little more,
Yeah.
Yeah, I overall I kind of prefer how things look on the 3DS. But that's just me. Another point is that the outlines around what's her face, Palutena, aren't solid black. That's a point that was against the Palutena leaks being real. But the fact that they aren't solid black, or that they aren't solid black and consistent, that's actually a reason to believe that it is real.
This is true.
Yeah, the
actually.
thing is, the outlines, they take the color of whatever object they're surrounding. So,
Yeah.
like, the outline that's doing Mario's hat would be, like, dark red. Luigi's would be dark green. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
plus, like near Palutena's halo, like in the second picture where she's like posing with her staff, like near her, like on her hair, like at some point the outline turns green.
Yeah, that is true.
And
Oh, yeah, because it's outlining her hair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that leak of Jigglypuff and Ness a while back had fully black outlines.
Yeah, that's what proved it
Icon
fake,
taken.
actually. Because,
Yeah.
like, the Ness and Jigglypuff thing, they just had thick black outlines. But, the guy who debunked it, he compared it to a shot of, I think it was Link and Toon Link, and, like, they had colored outlines.
Yeah.
So, that.
I'm pretty sure opacity and thickness are very variable on the 3DS. It doesn't seem
Yeah.
like they're ever.
There's that shot of Pikachu where his tail has, like, a really thin outline.
Yeah.
And yellow outline.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
rest of them has, like, a full outline, though.
Yeah, like around his head it's like black, but then when it gets down to like his tail, it turns thin and yellow.
Yep. And it's also less thick there,
Mhm.
which would probably mean that for some reason the game is like, hey, you can see that clearly, so you don't need such a thick outline. Another point is that this is something we already said, but that the 3DS models are not exportable because the games are not hackable. I think that would kill a lot of the whole like model debate. Like, it's definitely not from the 3DS.
Yeah.
Mhm.
True.
Believe me.
Hey, didn't one of you try to rip from the 3DS once, and, like, you couldn't?
Yeah, like believe me, I've tried to rip from the 3DS to get like dual Destinies models from the game, and I couldn't access those files.
Aww.
No fun with Gary's mod.
No fun, Gary.
Gosh, 3DS,
Yeah,
why
hopefully
didn't
they
you ruin
can
the
crack
fun?
the 3DS soon.
Hmm.
That's irrelevant.
Yeah. Anyways,
So, yeah. I think someone was trying to say something. Or no.
I'm good.
Oh, okay. Also, another point is that Medusa in the Kid Icarus 3DS Nintendo video program is shown in a profile shot while not having her belt fit snugly around her waist. So that would actually be like a counter to the whole Palutena belt wrapping around argument.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we touched on this briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
and-
think I mentioned it.
Yeah.
And as I stated earlier, like I checked the AR card model myself. It's less noticeable that it doesn't wrap around, but it doesn't wrap around her either in the AR card model.
Right. True. I think this is something we also touched on, but it's probably my favorite. The Palutena proportions are completely correct. We were talking about how her body is proportional to like where her feet would actually need to be around the ground compared to Mario, and that kind of sells it for me because I don't think that's something anybody thinks of if you're making a fake. You would have to consider the ground and measure Mario's proportions to the other screenshots. Like, that's really hard.
You'd have to use like some other picture of Mario to like measure his proportions, and then on top of that, not only measure Palutena's proportions to the ground, but also to Mario.
Yep. So
So like
that's
it could be done, but whoever would do it would have like a lot of time on their hands.
right,
A little
right.
bit too much
Way
time.
too much time.
Because we just explained how to do it, but it's very outlandish, you know.
Yep.
Not something anybody would think of. Another point is kind of less reliable, but it's
Still
interesting.
something.
Huh?
Still something to note.
Yeah, it's interesting nonetheless. Yeah, it's something to note. It's that if you use this online tool called photo forensics, and even this other one that somebody mentioned on the Smashboards forum, it's like ELA or something like that. You can see that there's like no anomalies in the pixels in either of the screenshots. So there's like no traces of like stray pixels or like bad editing. It all looks pretty consistent.
yeah.
Even the whole cloud issue, which some people suggested would have been copied and paste.
Yeah.
You know,
And go ahead.
to add to that photo forensics thing, like someone like put an official screenshot from the website on through that same analyzer thing, and they got the same results as the leaked image.
Right.
Yeah. And then someone did the same for some of the fakes going around, and it completely tore them apart.
Yeah.
Interesting. I wouldn't trust this tool completely, but it's
Yeah.
something to
It's
go
still
on.
something interesting to note. Like it's still something we needed to touch upon.
Yeah. This is the funniest one, I think.
Yeah.
But we've kind of mentioned it already. But for other screenshots' sake, the clipping issues regarding Palutena's hand and her scepter, they're actually kind of not a problem. The Wii
Yeah.
U has a lot more of that.
Yeah, Sakurai
There's
is
a
kind of
lot.
like flipping city, pretty much.
Which is ironic because it makes the 3DS version, which has lesser capabilities, seem more refined because there's less clipping in that version.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what that would make me guess though is that it just means that compared to other screenshots, the Palutena model is just more refined as of now.
I actually think it's a bit more in the early processes, but like you
Really?
can, yeah, because like the pose looked unfinished, like the face looks unfinished.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I know she's not really doing anything, so all right. Well, about the face issue, like she shouldn't really be doing anything too special with her face because she's just standing around. She's not attacking. She's not particularly talking.
Yeah.
She's not really. There's no need for her mouth to be open or anything.
I mean, isn't that all woman? What?
Whoa, man.
It's like, no.
Whoa there, buddy. You're kind of getting into touchy territory over there. You might want to slow
Oh
down.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm not a misogynist. You can drop that now.
Yeah, no fedoras here.
You can see anyway. Anyway, there's also, I think this is one of the more wild card-esque points, but it's one of the ones I like take to heart the most. The fact that there was a Kid Icarus related update after the leaks, surged. There was a Kid Icarus stage that was shown on Miiverse after
Viridian.
that. Yeah, with Viridian, the Reset Bomb stage, which is, I believe, Chapter 11 in Kid Icarus Uprising.
Yes.
And the biggest thing about that is that we hadn't seen that stage for a couple of months. Last time being with, I think, Pit and Donkey Kong inside of the Reset Bomb or something?
Yeah.
Right. So that was a long time ago. And for it to suddenly emerge again after the rise of some Palutena leak, pretty interesting.
It'd be coincidental.
With
but I don't
already
know.
no less.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Because think about Verdi's characters in the game. She did not get along with Palutena at all, and she was always saying, "I can do this better than you,"
Yeah.
or "I'm better than you." So the fact that she appears, looks like she's even facing the screen as if she's facing the audience, and then the caption is, "This is not a friendly girls' night out."
Oh, and to add to that, I feel like the fact that she doesn't get along with Palutena, that means if Palutena weren't playable, she would probably have the opportunity, or they could use that opportunity to have them like bicker in the background or something, in
Yeah,
some
that'd
sort
be
of way.
That calls kind of thing.
Yeah.
Although, that said, I still think, as far as Smash Taunts go, I think it's possible for her to be playable and, be in some Smash Taunts. Because, all the Star Fox characters, they all appear in, they're all playable, but they also all appear in, each other's taunts, even though they're supposed to technically be in, the ships outside.
Yeah. So that really, I mean,
Right. It's
When
mine.
Pal-
So, having said all that, points against, points for the league, how do we feel?
I feel like this leak is 100% true, but that's just me blindly believing in AC.
I say, I'm a little neutral. I mean, one thing that just kind of weirded me out, so, in the league, the screenshots, Mario's hand looks fairly bigger, but, in the league, his hands look smaller. I mean, that might be because of, the perspective, his animation, but
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Like if you look at I think his left fist, or the fist that is more to the right, it's like tilted a little bit so that the knuckles are facing the camera, and because of that, that makes it look less fat or big. It's just the knuckles that are showing the most. So
Yeah.
that could be another thing as well,
Yeah.
just the angle at which his face are presented. I'm pretty neutral to real. I'm somewhere in between.
Yeah, I'm
Same
sort
here.
of neutral to real too.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm neutral too. I don't know how likely it'd be for a leak to come out like this.
Okay. Yeah. I imagine it's
That's just how I
hard
feel.
to get through Sakurai's fortress and actually manage to
that's
get a
the thing.
leak.
Just supports the point that it was Sakurai himself that leaked the picture.
That does not seem like something Sakurai would do.
He's such a little girl when it comes to spoilers anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like poison to him. So, uh-huh.
Also, I think that Verity update is a coincidence, personally.
Oh, okay.
It's hilarious, though.
Well, to me, I feel like, let's say it wasn't on purpose, like an acknowledgement. What if it was like, what was I saying? Whoever had or has the Palutena leaks, for some reason also knew that would be around the time that the Kid Icarus update would come again. Like it would be.
So, they would know the schedule ahead of time and then, leak
Yeah.
it accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's fair. Are picks of the day, planned out, or are they just done on the fly?
I think they're planned out.
Yeah.
Are they?
I think they're mostly
Yeah.
Probably find out.
Maybe mostly is what I would say. leaving room for not always, because I feel like when it comes to special events like anniversaries and whatnot, they're already considering what to do for that. If there's anything like in July that is significant, they already have something in mind. Maybe not a picture already done, but something in mind.
Well, they had the 15th anniversary, and the whole week they had interesting pics except for that one day.
Oh, that's Sakurai trolling again.
He's trolling everyone. So he probably just
He's
took the
always
picture last lunch break or something.
Yeah.
Or he forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, wait, he
Busted.
mentioned it. The best thing is he mentioned the anniversary, but
Yeah, like a little
Unrelated.
flip note.
He didn't even mention it in the post itself. He mentioned it in the comments.
oh yeah.
Wow. So yeah, moving on from that. Another question that comes along with the whole validity of the screens is, if these leaked screens are, real, is Palutena actually going to be a newcomer to the Super Smash Bros. Roster? Or is she simply going to be another possible assist trophy? Now,
I do not see it being an assist trophy at all.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
like, if they're removing her from Pitch Final Smash, they gotta go big, go home with her.
Yeah,
Right,
'cause, like,
right.
I don't see why like a porn character like that would be turned to like assist trophy. Like usually for like a series that has playable representation on the Smash roster, for like the assist trophy, they usually like use a minor enemy or like a minor character. Like it's, I could either see like the Eggplant Wizard or like Magnus.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Magnus is really
I think Magnus is probably the most probable.
Yeah.
Like, I know that Sakurai's a troll, but I don't think he's that much of a troll to remove her from Pitch Final Smash only to make her an assist trophy.
Yeah.
Or is he?
I personally think it
Yeah,
makes
okay.
sense just because, Pit does have a better choice for Final Smash.
3 Sacred Treasures.
Great.
Great sacred treasure.
Yeah. If the playing playing like the last level in Uprising, I thought to myself, how is this not gonna be his new Final Smash in the next game?
Yeah, they did kind of hype it up in the game. Not that it's exactly the best, but it is.
It's like a Gundam, dude. He gets his own Gundam.
Yeah, pretty much. He turns into
Landmaster.
custom Robo. Whatchamacallit? Well, you see, arguing either side is actually a little more nitpicky now because, whether you believe it's a assist trophy or a newcomer. And the reason why is because if you could argue that she's a playable character because she has an outline around her model. And as we know, on the 3DS version of Super Smash Bros., there will be outlines around the playable characters, But at the same time, to date, we haven't seen a single screenshot of an assist trophy for the 3DS. So we don't know if assist trophies come with outlines along with playable characters. In that, that we can have our opinions, but we just don't know. But the only thing we have to help us with that is that on Friday, January 24th, Sakurai updated the Miiverse pick of the day with a 3DS screenshot of the Spirit Track stage. And we see in that stage that when Toon Link is a current fighter in that stage, in that match, the Toon Link that is usually conducting, the conductor Toon Link on that stage, he's actually replaced with Alfonso from the Spirit Tracks game. And he actually lacks an outline. So even though he's not an assist trophy, maybe the fact that a background element character doesn't have one would lead some people to believe that assist trophies don't have outlines.
Yeah, I don't see why assist trophies would have outlines. I mean, I thought part of the purpose of the outlines was to show off a character's hitboxes, wasn't it?
Yeah, to make it more clear on screen,
Some people were saying that Alfonso did have an outline. But that's
Yeah, looking at the
definitely
pic
not the
right now.
case.
I can kind of see what they're saying, but it's not. I don't think it's an outline.
It's just
No,
a-
me-
It's just kind of shady.
Yeah.
Cell shading.
Because Toon Link, the Toon Link that should normally be there, he doesn't have an outline either.
Yeah.
Alfonso.
Yeah, that's very true. A lot of people were saying, in fact, that it came with an outline. But no, it's definitely the cell shading. And it's not even as prominent as the Toon Link that's right next to him. And if outlines work as we think it does, his outline would probably be as strong as the Toon Link right next to him. And yeah, definitely that's not the case. Yeah, I think for the most part we can agree that if these leaks are real, she's probably a playable character, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's probably
Yeah.
new.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah, well, I
If
mean,
they're
like,
real.
well, go ahead.
I just said if they're real, that is.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Of
Yeah.
course.
I was just gonna say, like, the only reason I think that the only way she'd be an assist trophy is if there were no other KI reps. Because honestly, like, out of anyone who you could pick, Palutena should be in. Like, picking someone like Magnus would be weird considering Palutena has been with the series so long.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Only other person I guess that would be there about as long and that is prominent would be Medusa, and I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
I would
She wasn't
like
even in the
Hades
second
alive,
game.
but
Yeah.
no way that would happen.
Yeah, there's some pretty cool characters in the game. It's just that none of them are as prominent or as, reoccurring.
yeah. It's not.
Pit and Palutena, those are the two most prominent recurring characters.
Yeah, it's like the main characters of the series.
And an eggplant wizard.
And Medusa, but
Oh god, the eggplant wizard.
Captain Ed.
Well, I guess actually, Eggplant Wizard probably like among the most recurring enemies of the series because it's also in of Myths and Monsters in Uprising on the NES game.
Yeah.
He's in all three.
Yeah.
So, to close this up, actually, to wrap it up, rather, I don't know, whatever, interchangeable. Regardless of whether the leak screens are real or if, the person
fake.
photoshopped them, or they're fake, or if they're, fabricated. Do you think Palutena will be in Super Smash Bros?
Either
Yeah.
way, probably.
I think
Yeah.
In
she
some way or form.
I mean, clearly Sakurai values Kiddikers. I mean, if you go to the website, like the very first slot in like the website is Pit slot.
Oh. I wonder if that indicates any prominence. But that's a good thing to know. Yeah, very
That's
interesting.
something I noticed.
Cool, yeah. I mean, it's his creation, just like Kirby. So I think he does want to shoe in a lot of his own stuff, because who doesn't want to see their creations get some press?
Well,
Yeah.
with Smash
Oh.
64 and Melee, he was really hesitant to add any of his own characters. But
Really?
yeah, that's why he only had Kirby. But with Brawl, he had
Well,
Metal and DD.
I heard that from my sources.
I think it was I don't think he said anything about modesty back in '64. I remember he actually did say about Meta Knight for Melee. No, he did plan to put King Deity in.
Yeah, I've heard
yeah,
about it.
yeah,
along-
Deity was a time extreme.
Yeah, along Bowser and Mewtwo. Melee, it was like a rush game. It was only gonna have like 8 newcomers, so he probably felt bad like making one of these very few newcomers like one of his own.
Right.
So that
Considering the amount of clones that were in that game. I also I think I've heard that the fact that Kirby is obviously in the game and that it's Sakurai's creation is part of the reason why Kirby is so good for beginners. Like, he was created with almost all that in mind, to just be a good starting point for those who are casual about the fighting game in general. Anyway,
Hey.
I think Palutena's in.
Yes, whether the screen's real or not, he's in. Like, there's no doubt in my mind about that.
Well, I mean, it's not like I'm certain, but I feel like it's definitely a good move if she's in there. It's not like a Ridley or a K-Rool or a Lil Mac as people want, but she's cool, just like Rosalina. No, it wasn't the biggest bag out of the community, but I think people will be happy.
Yeah, and people say that Kid Icarus can only have one character because it has free games. Yeah, I could argue that by that logic, Star Fox should only have like 2 characters because it only has 5 games,
And
which means it's
other-
barely larger.
Yeah.
And the only other series of free characters is Kirby, and that has like 20 games.
That's true. And hey, I mean, Mario definitely has a lot more. And
Yeah.
I mean, he does have a lot, or though the series has a lot, if we're talking proportions, like over 50% of the roster would be Mario.
No.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, I think we can all agree on that. So,
Just as long as
Thank-
you don't get Crystal.
definitely
Yeah.
not. I
Oh,
love the
Lord.
Star Fox series, but Crystal, what was she even doing there?
Yeah.
Slippy or Peppy before that?
Even Leon.
Freaking Rob 64. Oh, that'd be kind of interesting now I think about it. Anyway, so all right, thank you guys for listening to our podcast, and also thank you to the panel, our commentators we had for today.
Yeah, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
Thanks also
great.
Yep. Back.
Yeah. Night of
I
my
enjoyed
life.
this.
That was really fun.
Yeah, thanks for having
Good
us.
discussion.
Sure.
Oh.
I think Brandon died, so he didn't get to finish the podcast.
Oh, poor guy.
Dang
For
it.
him.
Oh, did he? Can someone answer for him?
So we all
I guess
on
last
his
estimate-
behalf. We can.
Oh, okay. Looks like senseless just dropped out. Well, on his behalf, we could say he's happy too.
Yeah.
He was a good
Or
man.
is he? He was very mad about this.
So
Hey, there he is.
he's back.
Yep.
All right.
Hey.
Yeah.
So that's the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
It was a fun time. Make sure to like this video and subscribe. And check out smashboards.com for more great Smash content.
Hold
See you
on.
there.
Before we go,
Yes.
really too big. Alright,
Wow.
see you guys on the next video.
Woo. That's a topic for another day. Ridley's too big.
Yep.
Yep.
Too damn
Alright.
big.
All right. See you guys. Till next time.
Bye.